Whew. Pardon my red face, but I was just wielding some satellite dishes around in 1-degree weather, trying to get them all mounted and sorted away before winter apocalypse hits. And you told me via DM that some new Twitter files dropped. No live stream. I'll be probably chilling on live streams a little bit till the new year. I might have got one or two left, but just trying to focus on the most important stories. This from Lee Fang. I had not known that Lee Fang was involved in this. This is from The Intercept. Maybe he replaced Barry Weiss. How Twitter quietly aided the Pentagon's covert online PSYOP campaign. Despite promises to shut down covert state-run propaganda networks, Twitter documents show that social media giant directly assisted the U.S. military's influence operations. Twitter has claimed for years that they make concerted efforts to detect and thwart government-backed platform manipulation. Here is Twitter testifying to Congress about its pledge to rapidly identify and shut down all state-backed covert information operations and deceptive propaganda. But behind the scenes, Twitter gave approval and special protection to the United States military online psychological influence ops. Despite knowledge that the Pentagon propaganda accounts used covert identities, Twitter did not suspend many for around 2 years or more. Some remain active still. In 2017, a U.S. Central Command official sent Twitter a list of 52 Arab language accounts. Quote, "We use to amplify certain messages that we use." The official asked for priority service for 6 accounts, verification for 1 whitelist abilities for others. Yikes. Man, it feels... Are any of you feeling like... I know that like a lot of my viewers are, well, quite frankly, more smart than I am, smarter than I am. You probably are like, duh, everyone knew this. But I find myself feeling like, oh my God. You know, like I was worried about the Packers' 17% chance of making the playoffs. This stuff's going on. And you know, man, it's easy to get, fleeced. It's easy to like not be awake to this stuff. The same day CENTCOM sent the list, Twitter officials used a tool to grant special, quote, whitelist tag that essentially provides verification status to the accounts without a blue check, meaning they are exempt from spam or abuse flags, more visible, likely to trend on hashtags. The CENTCOM accounts for the list tweeted frequently about the United States military priorities in the Middle East, including promoting anti-Iran messages, promoting of the Saudi Arabia U.S.-backed war in Yemen, and, quote, accurate U.S. drone strikes they claimed to only target Terry's. CENTCOM then shifted strategies and deleted disclosures of ties to their Twitter accounts. The bios of the accounts changed to seemingly organic profiles. One bio read, Euphrates Pulse. Another used an apparent deepfake profile picture claimed to be the source of an Iraqi opinion. One Twitter official who spoke to me said he feels deceived by the covert shift. Still, many emails from throughout 2020 show that high-level Terry executives were well aware of the DoD's vast network of fake accounts and covert propaganda and did not suspend the accounts. Sorry, I use, when I have my delicious coffee brand coffee, I like to, I put a little of this rock sugar in it, just feeling like treat myself a little bit. And I like shake it up, Any hoozle. For example, Twitter lawyer Jim Baker mused in a July 2020 email about upcoming DoD meeting that the Pentagon used poor tradecraft in setting up its network, and were seeking strategies for not exposing these accounts that were linked to each other, or the Department of Defense, or USG. Stacia Cardilli, another Twitter attorney, replied that the Pentagon wanted SCIF and may want to retroactively classify its social media activities to obfuscate their activity in the space, and they may represent an overclassification to avoid embarrassment. Well, interesting. Interesting. In several other 2020 emails, high-level Twitter executives, lawyers discussed the Covert network and even recirculated the 2017 list from CENTCOM and shared another list of 157 undisclosed Pentagon accounts, again, mostly focused on Middle East military issues. In May 2020, Twitter's Lisa Roman emailed the DoD with two lists. One list was accounts previously provided to U.S., and another was a list Twitter detected. The accounts tweeted in Russian and Arabic on U.S. military issues in Syria and other areas. Many also did not disclose Pentagon ties. So the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, is just using Twitter for its own ops. Certainly what it seems like, right? Just go ahead and use Twitter for your own military ops, because that seems like a good idea. That seems like something the American people might want to know about. In August of 2022, a Stanford Internet Observatory report exposed the U.S. military covert propaganda network on Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and other apps using fake news portals and deepfake images and memes against U.S. foreign adversaries. The U.S. propaganda network relentlessly pushed narratives against Russia, China, and other foreign countries. They accused Iran of threatening Iraq's water security and flooding the country with crystal meth and harvesting organs of Afghan refugees. The Stanford report did not identify all the accounts of the network, but one of them they did name was the exact same Twitter account CENTCOM asked for whitelist privileges in its 2017 email. So the Department of Defense worked hand in glove with Twitter to spread propaganda in the Middle East. In subsequent reporting, Twitter was cast as an unbiased hero for removing a network of fake user accounts promoting pro-Western policy positions. Media covering the story described Twitter as evenly applying its policies and proactive into suspending the DoD network. The reality is much more murky. Twitter actively assisted CENTCOM's network going back to 2017, and as late as 2020, knew these accounts were covert, designed to deceive and manipulate the discourse, a violation of Twitter's policies and promises they waited for years to suspend. Twitter's comms teams was closely in touch with reporters working to minimize Twitter's role. When the Washington Post reported on the scandal, Twitter officials congratulated each other because the story didn't mention any Twitter employees and focused largely on the Pentagon. So they knew. The Twitter employees knew. The conduct with the U.S. military covert network stands in stark contrast with how Twitter has boasted about rapidly identifying and taking down covert accounts tied to state-backed influence operations, including Thailand, Russia, Venezuela, and others since 2016. Here is my reported piece with more detail. I was given access to Twitter for a few days. I signed and agreed to nothing. Twitter had no input in anything I wrote. The searches were carried out by a Twitter attorney, so what I saw could be limited. Links off to The Intercept. I mean, absolutely insane. What? Nah. No, I don't want to give you my monies. Nice, you can have my email. Fine. The revelations are buried in the archives of Twitter's emails and internet tools, to which The Intercept has granted access for a brief period alongside a handful of other writers and reporters. I expect to see even more coming out. Following Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter, the billionaire started giving access to company documents, saying in a Twitter space that the general idea is to surface anything bad Twitter had done in the past. The files, which included records generated under Musk's ownership, provide unprecedented, if incomplete, insight into decision-making within a major social media company. Twitter did not provide unfettered access to company information. Rather, for 3 days last week, they allowed me to make requests without restriction that were then fulfilled on my behalf by an attorney, meaning the search results may not have been exhaustive, and I did not agree to any conditions governing the use of the documents, and I made the efforts to authenticate and contextualize the documents through further reporting. The redactions in the embedded documents of the story were done by The Intercept. to protect the privacy, not Twitter. Now, I don't want to take away from Lee Fang's work here, so I think you should, try to read it on his account. These reporters and journalists who are actually doing real work, they do deserve. But what we know now is it's deeply concerning if the Pentagon is working to shape public opinion about our military's role abroad, and even worse if private companies are helping to conceal it. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they did. This is only the tip of the iceberg. I'm absolutely certain of it. Make sure, if you haven't yet, that you click that subscribe button down below. Anytime new Twitter files come out, I'll be the first to get them broken down for you. And I greatly, greatly appreciate all your support and kind words. And we'll talk to you again real soon.